Hello and good evening. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has had a detailed assessment of the COVID-19 situation in the country along with Chief Ministers of all states. We'll get you the details because a lot has emerged, but the PM has not only urged the holding of a vaccination festival from the 11th to the 14th of this month to counter vaccine hesitancy, but also said that Chief Ministers should call night curfews as corona curfews to increase awareness about the kind of precautions that people need to take. We will get you all the details on that on Newsnight tonight. I'm Gautam Roy, and we'll also be talking to our guests about how India has steadfastly backed Seychelles again today with the handing over of key maritime and sustainable development projects, including a state-of-the-art Made in India fast patrolling vessel. But first, our headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi calls for the launch of a vaccination festival from the 11th to the 14th of April to counter vaccine hesitancy and reduce wastage of doses. Urges youth to participate in large numbers by helping their elders. The PM urges Chief Ministers in COVID assessment meet to term night curfews as corona curfews to increase awareness and not enforce complete lockdowns. Urges governors to work in tandem with Chief Ministers. Suggests calling an all-party meeting to brainstorm over the challenge. The Union government puts to rest speculation over shortage of COVID-19 vaccines. Health Minister says over 4.3 crore doses are in stock and nearing delivery to states. Asserts hue and cry by some states about partisanship by centre is just an attempt to hide their own incompetence. Rajasthan and Maharashtra are two of the top 3 states based on allocation of doses. MEA says India has not imposed any ban on export of COVID-19 vaccines. Reiterates external supplies are being made keeping in mind domestic requirements. India has so far supplied vaccines to more than 80 countries around the world. Landmark high-level virtual event held between Prime Minister Modi and Seychelles President Wavel Ramkalawan. India hands over key maritime security and development projects, including a 50-meter-long Made in India fast patrolling vessel to Seychelles Coast Guard, as well as a 1-megawatt solar power plant. The PM says Seychelles is central to India's vision of Sagar. Prime Minister Modi addresses meeting of the high-level committee formed to plan the celebration of the 400th Prakash Parv on Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji. Urges enriched celebrations all year round, with efforts being made to take them worldwide. Says Guru Tegh Bahadur gave the mantra for equality, harmony and sacrifice. Naxals released Cobra Battalion Jawan Rakeshwar Singh Manhas, who had been taken captive after the 3rd of April encounter between security forces and the Ultras in Chhattisgarh, Bijapur district. The Jawan's family rejoices upon learning of his release. Union Home Minister speaks to the kin of Rakeshwar Singh Manhas. Campaigning comes to an end for the 4th phase of assembly elections in West Bengal. 44 seats will go to polls on Saturday. Top leaders including BJP President JP Nadda canvass for voters' support. TMC Chief Mamata Banerjee also seeks support for her party's candidates. And Indian Army Chief General M.M. Narawane is in Bangladesh on a 5-day visit to further expand cooperation and coordination between the two countries on a host of strategic issues. The visit has come less than 2 weeks after Prime Minister Modi travelled to the neighbouring country. Okay, first up, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has chaired another meeting with Chief Ministers of all states to assess the COVID-19 situation in the country. Prime Minister Modi stressed on the need to recall past experience to contain this wave of COVID-19. He said the nation has crossed a peak of first wave. Growth of cases is more rapid. Several states have crossed the peak of the first wave. Others are closing in. And this is a matter of concern. People have become very casual. Administration has also been lax at some times. Now, this has created a lot of problems. The PM called on all to buckle up and to work on war footing to fight COVID-19.
इस बार लोग पहले की अपेक्षा बहुत अधिक कैजुअल हो गए हैं। अधिकतर राज्यों में प्रशासन भी सुस्त नजर आ रहा है। ऐसे में कोरोना के केसेस की इस अचानक बढ़ोतरी ने मुश्किलें ज्यादा पैदा की है। कोरोना के प्रसार को रोकने के लिए फिर से युद्ध स्तर पर काम करना आवश्यक है। साथियों, इन तमाम चुनौतियों के बावजूद हमारे पास पहले की अपेक्षा बेहतर अनुभव है, पहले की अपेक्षा अच्छे संसाधन है और अब एक वैक्सीन भी हमारे पास है। जन भागीदारी के साथ साथ हमारे परिश्रमी डॉक्टर्स और हेल्थ वर्कर्स, हेल्थ केयर स्टाफ ने स्थिति को संभालने में बहुत मदद की और आज भी कर रहे हैं। आप सभी में अपने पहले के अनुभवों का प्रभावी ढंग से उपयोग अपेक्षित है।
The PM also called for launch of a vaccination festival from the 11th to the 14th of April to counter vaccine hesitancy and reduce wastage of doses. He urged the youth to participate in large numbers by helping their elders.
मैं एक सुझाव देता हूं, क्योंकि ये कभी-कभी वातावरण बदलने के लिए चीजें बहुत काम आती हैं। 11 अप्रैल ज्योतिबा फुले जी की जन्म जयंती है और 14 अप्रैल बाबा साहब आंबेडकर जी की जन्म जयंती है। क्या हम 11 अप्रैल से 14 अप्रैल पूरे अपने राज्य में टीका उत्सव मना सकते हैं? एक पूरा वातावरण क्रिएट कर सकते हैं टीका उत्सव का। एक विशेष अभियान चलाकर हम ज्यादा से ज्यादा एलिजिबल लोगों को वैक्सीनेट करें। जीरो वेस्टेज तय करें हम कि इन 4 दिन जो है टीका उत्सव में जीरो वेस्टेज होगा। वो भी हमारी वैक्सीनेशन कैपेसिटी को बढ़ा देगा।
And the PM also urged governors to work in tandem with chief ministers. He suggested calling an all-party meeting to brainstorm over the challenge.
गवर्नर नाम की जो अपने यहाँ इंस्टीट्यूट है, उसका भी भरपूर उपयोग किया जाए। क्या गवर्नर साहब के नेतृत्व में, मुख्यमंत्री जी के मार्गदर्शन में ऑल पार्टी मीटिंग राज्य तो सबसे पहले कर लें, राज्य ऑल पार्टी मीटिंग करें और ऑल पार्टी मीटिंग करके एक एक्शनेबल पॉइंट तय करें। फिर मेरा आग्रह है कि गवर्नर साहब और मुख्यमंत्री मिलकर के जितने भी इलेक्टेड लोग हैं उनका वर्चुअल वेबिनार करें। पहले अर्बन बॉडीज का करें, फिर रूरल बॉडीज का करें, जितने लोग चुन करके आए हैं उनसे करें और उनके सामने सभी आपके असेंबली में जो जीत करके लोग आए हैं उसके जो फ्लोर लीडर हैं सब संबोधित करें।
West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee skipped the event in favor of electioneering. However, Prime Minister Modi refused to get drawn into recent political comments and statements. He said, treat the pandemic as an opportunity to serve mankind instead.
मेरा आग्रह है, जहां तक राजनीति करना न करने का सवाल है, मैं तो डे 1 से देख रहा हूं, भांति भांति के बयानों को झेल रहा हूं, लेकिन मैं कभी मुंह खोलता नहीं हूं, क्योंकि मैं मानता हूं ये हिंदुस्तान के लोगों की सेवा करना पवित्र हमारा जिम्मेवारी है। हमें ईश्वर ने इस समय ये कठिन परिस्थिति में सेवा करने का जिम्मा दिया है, हमने इसको निभाना है। जो राजनीति करना चाहते हैं वो कर ही रहे हैं, उनके लिए मुझे कुछ कहना नहीं है, लेकिन हम सभी मुख्यमंत्री अपने राज्य के सभी दलों को बुला करके सभी प्रकार के लोगों को साथ रख करके अपने राज्य में स्थिति को बदलने के लिए आगे आएंगे। मुझे पक्का विश्वास है इस संकट को भी हम देखते ही देखते पार करके निकल जाएंगे।
And the PM also said that earlier there was no option but to go in for a lockdown. Now the need is to use terms like corona curfew instead of night curfew to make people aware. He indicated that a complete lockdown is not an option.
दुनिया ने भी ये रात्रि कर्फ्यू के प्रयोग को स्वीकार किया है, क्योंकि हर व्यक्ति को कर्फ्यू समय होता है तो याद आता है कि हाँ, मैं कोरोना काल में जी रहा हूं और बाकी जीवन व्यवस्थाओं को कम से कम प्रभाव होता है। हाँ, अच्छा होगा कि हम कोरोना कर्फ्यू रात को 9 बजे शुरू करें या रात को 10 बजे शुरू करें और सुबह 5-6 बजे तक चलाएं, ताकि बाकी व्यवस्थाओं को प्रभाव ज्यादा न हो। और इसलिए उसको कोरोना कर्फ्यू के नाम से ही प्रचलित करें, और कोरोना कर्फ्यू एक प्रकार से लोगों को एजुकेट करने के लिए काम आ रहा है, अवेयरनेस के लिए काम आ रहा है।
And earlier in the day, Prime Minister Modi got his second COVID vaccine shot at Delhi AIIMS and urged all those who are eligible to also get theirs at the earliest. The day also saw different state governments like those in Madhya Pradesh, Tamil Nadu and Uttar Pradesh put in additional restrictions to control the spread of the virus in the entire region or in specific locations. While the Union Health Minister made it clear for once and all that there is no shortage of COVID vaccines in any state in the country. Here's more.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi took the second dose of the COVID-19 vaccine at AIIMS. He had taken the first dose on the 1st of March. After his vaccination, Prime Minister urged those eligible to get the jab at the earliest. In a tweet, he said, "Vaccination is among the few things we have to defeat the virus. If you are eligible for the vaccine, get your shot soon. Register on cowin.gov.in." The Prime Minister's second vaccine dose was administered by 2 nurses, one of whom had given him his first shot as well. P. Niveda, who was the main nurse last time, was seen holding PM Modi's arm while Nisha Sharma administered the dose.
I was elated again. I got a second opportunity to meet sir. अच्छा लगा, सर से फिर से बातचीत हुई, एक फ़ोटो भी लिए थे हमने उनको वैक्सीन की सेकेंड डोज दी और हमें बहुत अच्छा लगा उनसे मिलके, और फिर उनसे थोड़ी सी बातचीत भी हुई। उन्होंने पूछा कि हम कहाँ से हैं और फिर एक फ़ोटोग्राफ ली, एंड इट वाज रियली वेरी मेमोरेबल मोमेंट फॉर मी.
Putting to rest all speculations about the shortage of vaccines, Union Health Minister tweeted, "Let's put an end to fear-mongering now. COVID-19 vaccine doses, total administered over 9 crore. In stock, nearing delivery to states, 4.3 crores. Where does question of shortages arise? We are continuously monitoring and enhancing supply. Hue and cry by certain states about partisanship by the union government is just a farce, an attempt to hide their own incompetence. Maharashtra and Rajasthan are 2 of the top 3 states based on allocation of COVID-19 vaccine doses. Both are non-BJP governed states. Responding to statements by Maharashtra government on shortage of vaccine, the central government has asserted that this claim is false. Union INB minister said that 5 lakh doses have gone waste in Maharashtra because of lapse on the part of the state government. In contrast to the Shiv Sena, partner in the Maha Aghadi government, NCP chief Sharad Pawar appreciated the efforts of the central government.
23 लाख डोसेस महाराष्ट्र सरकार के पास है। दिन में 4, 5, 6 लाख जितने भी लगाएंगे उससे ज्यादा कल आते हैं, और 3-3 दिन का पाइपलाइन में रहता है। 23 लाख यानी 5-6 दिन का स्टॉक है। अब वहां जिलों में भेजना, जिलों से तहसील में जाना, तहसील में वो जहां सरकारी हॉस्पिटल में या प्राइवेट हॉस्पिटल में मिलता है वहां तक डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करना, तो ये सूत्र है। क्योंकि महाराष्ट्र में इतने सब बोल रहे हैं, 5 लाख डोज तो खराब कर दिया।
With a surge in cases in Maharashtra, a central team arrived at the BKC COVID-19 vaccination center in Mumbai to assess the current situation in the city.
हम लोग राज्य शासन के साथ मिलके और डिस्ट्रिक्ट के प्रशासन के साथ मिलके उनके सहयोग से और उनको सहयोग देके कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि हम ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा अच्छी तरीके से कोविड मैनेजमेंट जो इस राज्य में होगा उसको हम लोग प्रयास करें।
In the wake of rising COVID cases, the Noida and Ghaziabad administrations have announced a night curfew in the cities. As per officials, the curfew will be in place between 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. till April 17th. However, the movement of essential goods and services will be exempted from the order. The Tamil Nadu government will also reintroduce multiple restrictions from April 10th to tackle the steady increase in COVID-19 cases across the state. According to a government order issued on Thursday, The restrictions have been brought back as campaigning for the state assembly elections and the voting has been completed. Meanwhile, corona vaccination work is going on at a rapid pace in all the states. In terms of the number of daily doses administered globally, India stands at the top with an average of over 34 lakh vaccination doses per day. India's cumulative vaccination coverage exceeds 9 crores with nearly 30 lakh vaccine doses given in the last 24 hours. States are gearing up to further ramp up vaccination capacity. Amid growing restrictions in Maharashtra, traders in Pune demonstrated against the state government, while in many parts of the country, negligence on the part of the people can be seen. Be it in Mumbai's vegetable market or in Delhi's vegetable market. Perhaps that explains why India's daily new cases continue to rise. 1,26,789 new cases were registered in the last 24 hours. Bureau Report, DD India.
Well, now the Indian government has once again clarified that it has not imposed any ban on the export of COVID-19 vaccines. During a media interaction, MA spokesperson reiterated that external supplies are being sent keeping in mind domestic requirements.
Supply of made in India vaccines abroad would continue, taking into account our domestic requirements. Let me reiterate that there is no ban on export of vaccines. In fact, the website of our ministry is being updated regularly to reflect that the supply of vaccines that are happening on a periodic basis. Regarding the issue specific to Serum Institute, I think I would refer you to the company itself. They would be best placed to answer any such question. And as regards the issue of procurement of raw materials from the US, you would recall that Foreign Secretary had been informed during his briefing on March 12th that the issue had been taken up with the United States of America.
All right, now moving on, India has been a time-tested partner for Seychelles in its quest to secure its maritime boundaries and ensure the sustainable development and progress of its people. The spirit of shared values and mutual respect saw India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Seychelles President Vavel Ram Kalawan jointly inaugurate 4 key projects, which also include the handing over of a made-in-India fast patrol vessel to the Seychelles Coast Guard. Here's more.
A landmark high-level virtual event was held on Thursday between India and Seychelles. It saw India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Seychelles President Vavel Ram Kalawan jointly inaugurate a new magistrates court building, hand over a fast patrol vessel to Seychelles Coast Guard, hand over a 1 megawatt solar power plant and unveiling of 10 high-impact community development projects. The Prime Minister noted that the new Magistrates Court building in Seychelles' capital Victoria is India's first major civil infrastructure project in the Indian Ocean region nation, built with $3.4 million grant assistance during tough COVID times.
We are happy to have contributed towards the construction of the new Magistrates Court building in Seychelles. The state-of-the-art building has been completed even during these testing times of COVID-19 pandemic. I'm sure that it will be long remembered as a symbol of our deep and abiding friendship.
The 50-meter fast patrol vessel called PS Zoroaster is a modern and fully equipped naval ship made in India by GRSE Kolkata. It has been gifted to Seychelles under Indian grant assistance to strengthen its maritime surveillance capabilities with its 35 knots top speed. It is the 4th patrol vessel gifted by India to Seychelles. The 1 megawatt ground-mounted solar power plant at the Romainville island of Seychelles has been completed as part of the solar PV democratization project being implemented in Seychelles by the Government of India under grant assistance to help Seychelles attain its sustainable development goals. The virtual event also saw the handing over of 10 high-impact community development projects implemented by the Indian High Commission in collaboration with local bodies and institutions for the socio-economic development of local communities.
India is honored to have played the role of a strong partner of Seychelles in its fight against COVID pandemic. During times of need, we were able to supply essential medicines and 50,000 doses of made in India vaccine to Seychelles. Seychelles was the first African country to receive the made in India COVID-19 vaccines. I wish to assure President Ramkalawanji that India will continue to stand firmly with Seychelles in its efforts for post-COVID economic recovery.
Seychelles President Ramkalawan expressed gratitude for India's help in not only implementing the projects, but also the assistance it gave with medicines, essential supplies and vaccines during the COVID-19 period.
The sincere appreciation of the government of Seychelles and my deep gratitude for your unfailing support and solidarity to our country. You have always embraced this legacy and you continue to do so. What better example of Indian solidarity than your spontaneous donation of 50,000 doses of Covishield vaccine to Seychelles in January 2021.
Clearly, the inauguration of key projects demonstrates India's time-tested role as a reliable partner of Seychelles and stands testimony to the deep and friendly ties between the people of India and Seychelles. Bureau Report, DD India.
And this brings up our In Focus tonight, which is India backs Seychelles' a sustainable development. And to talk about it, we have with us Anil Vadava, former Secretary East at the Ministry of External Affairs, and we also have Vice Admiral Shekhar Sinha, retired, former Chief of Integrated Defence Staff. Good evening to you both. Anil Vadava, if I could ask you first, in terms of what has happened today, how do you see it as the progress that India and Seychelles have made ever since they've had these diplomatic ties, and India has laid a lot of emphasis on, of course, neighborhood first. It extends that to Seychelles and then along with that Africa as well.
Absolutely. I think today is a very important day as far as India and Seychelles relationship is concerned. Seychelles, of course, occupies a very strategic position in the Indian Ocean, and it's on the way to strategic sea lanes of shipping and commerce, but at the same time, it's also an important seat for the fight against seaborne terrorism and piracy in the Indian Ocean region. And of course, India has been consistently supporting the security of Seychelles and at the same time contributing to its economic development through the kind of development projects that have been unveiled today. And at the same time, supplying and training the Seychelles military and at the same time naval forces to make sure that there is enough patrolling which goes on in the vast economic zone of Seychelles.
Certainly. Vice Admiral Shekhar Sinha, what do you make of this particular fast patrolling vessel that has been now handed over to Seychelles? This is the fourth vessel, but that's not the only help in terms of equipment for the purposes of patrolling and surveillance that India has given to Seychelles. If you take it all together, in the past as well, we've given them equipment for aerial surveillance.
Well, namaskar, and thank you for getting me on this news program.
You're most welcome.
I want to take the viewers back to 2008, when there was an attempt of coup in that country, and Indian naval ship Vindhyagiri went to support, so that the coup could be pushed down. It was sort of taken care of. And again, in the same year, the then President Rene, he was airlifted from Kenya, Harare, to Seychelles and kept in the safe house of the Indian High Commissioner there because of another threat of coup. We have very close relation, defense and security relation. Firstly, as Ambassador Vadava said, Very important sea lanes of communication pass through very close to Seychelles. The ones which are coming round the Cape of Good Hope, particularly coming from maybe from southern America and heading towards Gulf, this is the route that they take. Also, the ones which are heading for the Makran coast, and some of them which are coming to India. And if you go to the east, you will find that they are heading in the direction of Malacca Strait. So this is important in the sense that Somalia is next door, and Somalia is home to most of the pirates. There were piracy attempts very close to Seychelles, where the Indian ships had gone and supported the government for that piracy attack to be sort of thought. And therefore, Indian government had decided they will gift these fast patrol boats, which have got very high-tech equipment fitted in that. It has got a thermal imaging camera, it has got a radar, it has got a fairly high-caliber gun, so that in case they are threatened for life, they can open fire. Also, there is a Dornier aircraft and a team of 8 officers there who are in the Dornier support team. The maritime security advisor is a naval officer on loan to Seychelles. So I think all in all, we have a very close relation, and it is an all-round development. If you see, it is the thought of Sagar, which Prime Minister Modi has said, that they are the pillar of, they are the central to the Sagar, because the growth is one issue and security is another. They go hand in hand, and therefore today's Prime Minister's virtual meeting with the president there, Ram Kalawan, and in November the Honorable External Affairs. So it's a very close relation.
Certainly. And Anand Wadhwa, if you look at this along with the other projects that have been handed over, especially related to the solar power plant, 1 megawatt, it doesn't sound much if you just look at it, in terms of 1 megawatt, in terms of the proportions of projects that are done normally in India. But for a small country like Seychelles, it is quite significant, isn't it? Especially for an Indian Ocean region, island nation, really, which has a lot at stake, really, where climate change is concerned.
Definitely, and at the same time, this project is going to service 400 households for their energy needs, and at the same time will save $225,000 as far as Seychelles is concerned. Now, for a country like Seychelles, that's a big amount. It's got a small population, and even 400 households means a lot to Seychelles.
Yes.
So this part of the ongoing development projects that India has undertaken in Seychelles. In fact, there have been 149 projects that have been undertaken so far in Seychelles over the years. And all these have contributed a lot to the social and economic development of the country.
Certainly. And all these require a strategic dimension as well, don't they? As long as sustainability is the long-term goal, it's not just only about security, isn't it, Vice Admiral Shekhar Sinha?
Yeah, you're very right, because unless you have stability, the prosperity will actually remain away from these smaller nations who do not have enough means to take care of themselves. As I mentioned in the 1986 coup attempt that I mentioned, that is reflective of the instability inherent in the small countries, which have got very large number of islands, 118 islands, to rule, and they're all quite separated to far distances. So the point is that if they are not, and India is supposed to be a net security provider in this area, this time the US Secretary of Defense, he also mentioned that now the Indian Navy will also be linked to AFRICOM. It means that Indo-Pacific and AFRICOM. Therefore, the headquarters in Delhi will have absolutely updated maritime domain awareness of the entire African coast with the help of AFRICOM, and that includes Seychelles, in toto. Second thing, they have the station by which the data from the maritime patrol aircraft Dornier is given to ground station, and then it is uplinked onto a larger maritime domain awareness. So first thing about any security or growth is to be aware of what is happening around. And for that, this is a very important step, and that must be taken as a usage, more of civil usage, because of the ships which are transiting, the safety the merchant ship safety is very much the responsibility of the countries which are on the way. And these fast patrol boats are actually going to help safety of arrival and departure and transit of public goods to their destination.
Certainly. And this kind of relationship that we have, Anil Wadhwa, with Seychelles, do you think it stands as a good example for other nations as well in the region, in the Eastern African region, especially the coastal nations there?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, India has been steadily enhancing its relationship with the entire stretch of the Vanilla Islands in the vicinity. They're all seen as very important from the strategic point of view, and also as island countries which can contribute a lot to the security of the sea lanes of communication as far as India is concerned. Now, don't forget that India has also signed an interoperability agreement with France and has also got the facilities which France has for the purposes of turnaround.
Okay.
So this is an added dimension to security in this region. Also, we have to keep in mind, as far as Seychelles is concerned, that India is developing the Assumption Island with Seychelles, which is again a very important place as far as the sea lanes of communication are concerned. And all efforts have been made to complete that project as quickly as possible. In fact, this has been going on since 2015. We then had a visit by the former president, Danny Farr, to New Delhi,
Right.
during which we also agreed on building an airstrip on the Assumption Island, and also provided a grant of $100 million to Seychelles for this purpose. So all efforts are on to make sure that our cooperation in the defense and security field, as well as in the economic field, and you could see that from the bouquet of projects that have been launched today. That's an ideal combination of both sides, economic development and security cooperation.
Certainly, and a lot of projects there, small ones for the local community as well. It all adds up to both the countries aiding each other in a manner that is most progressive, and we hope to hear more on this front in the coming months and years as well. Thanks a lot for joining us this evening, both Anil Wadhwa as well as Vice Admiral Shekhar Sinha. Okay, now Prime Minister Modi also chaired the meeting of the high-level committee to commemorate 400th birth anniversary, that is Prakash Parv of Shri Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji today. The meeting was organized through video conferencing, where the PM urged everyone to participate wholeheartedly in the celebrations and to tread the path lit by the Gurus. Listen into what the PM had to say.
Namaskar.
Namaskar, respected members of the committee and colleagues.
और सभी साथियों,
This occasion of the 400th Prakash Parv of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji is a matter of spiritual privilege and also a national duty for all of us.
और एक राष्ट्रीय कर्तव्य भी है। इसमें हम अपना कुछ योगदान दे सकें।
This is Guru Kripa, that we have got this opportunity so that we can contribute on this occasion.
कि हम सब देश के
I am glad that all of us together are taking forward these efforts.
अपने इन प्रयासों को आगे बढ़ा रहे हैं।
Here, the Home Minister has presented the views and resolutions of the committee as the chairman of the National Implementation Committee.
इम्प्लीमेंटेशन कमेटी के अध्यक्ष के तौर पर कमेटी के विचारों को हमारे सामने प्रस्तुत किया।
In the presentation too, action plan for the entire year has been presented.
प्रेजेंटेशन में भी पूरे साल के कार्य योजना के संबंध में एक लचीली रूपरेखा थी, जिसमें काफी सुधार की भी संभावनाएं हैं।
In this also, there is further scope of suggestions.
आप सदस्यों की ओर से भी
Valuable suggestions and ideas have also been received from all the committee members.
सुझाव मिले हैं। और ये बात सही है कि एक अंतर्राष्ट्रीय स्तर पर हमने इस
It is true that we should take advantage of this great opportunity and take forward the basic thinking and ideology of the country at the international level. I am aware of the fact that there are many members in this committee and not all of them have got a chance to present their ideas here today. But I hope that all the respected members of this committee will send their suggestions to me in writing so that we can make the events related to Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji much more enriched and strategies can be formulated to celebrate year-long events.
साथियों, बीती 4 शताब्दियों में
In the last 4 centuries in India, we cannot imagine any period or phase that had no influence of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji.
जिसकी कल्पना हम गुरु तेग बहादुर जी के प्रभाव के बिना कर सकते हो। नवम गुरु के तौर पर
As the 9th Guru, we all get inspiration from him. All of us are familiar with various facets of his life. However, it is equally important for the new generation of the country to know about him.
उन्हें समझना भी उतना ही जरूरी है। साथियों, गुरु नानक देव जी से लेकर गुरु तेग बहादुर जी,
From Guru Nanak Dev Ji to Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji and then Guru Gobind Singh Ji, our Sikh Guru tradition has been a complete life philosophy in itself.
ये सौभाग्य है कि गुरु नानक देव जी का
It is the privilege and good fortune of the government that we got the opportunity to celebrate 550th Prakash Parv of Guru Nanak Dev Ji, 400th birth anniversary of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji and 350th Prakash Parv of Guru Gobind Singh Ji. If the world wants to know the meaning of life, it can be seen in the lives of our gurus.
सार्थकता को समझना चाहे तो हमारे गुरुओं के जीवन को देख बहुत आसानी से समझ सकता है।
They made the highest sacrifices in their lives. They were also enlightened with knowledge and they also achieved spiritual heights.
उनके जीवन में ज्ञान का प्रकाश भी था, आध्यात्मिक ऊंचाई भी थी। साथियों, गुरु तेग बहादुर जी ने कहा है,
Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji has said, Sukhu dukhu dono sam kari jane, aur manu apamana.
और मानु अपमान।
It means happiness or sorrow, respect or disgrace. We should treat all situations equally.
एक जैसा रहते हुए हमें अपना जीवन जीना चाहिए। उन्होंने जीवन के उद्देश्य भी बताए हैं।
He has stated the purpose of life and has also shown the path to achieve it. He has shown us the path of service and also service to the nation. He has given us the mantra of equality, harmony and sacrifice.
और त्याग का मंत्र हमें दिया है। इन्हीं मंत्रों को खुद जीना और जन जन तक पहुंचाना, ये हम सबका कर्तव्य है। साथियों, जैसी यहाँ चर्चा भी हुई,
As it is also discussed here, events should be organized in the country on the 400th Prakash Parv and we should try to ensure that we can reach maximum people globally with these events.
हम लोगों तक पहुंचने का प्रयास करना चाहिए। सिख परंपरा से जुड़े
Pilgrimage centers associated with the Sikh tradition will also energize these activities.
और ऊर्जा देंगे। गुरु तेग बहादुर जी के शब्द,
Guru Tegh Bahadur Shabad, bhajans of their ragas, literature related to him, cultural programs. These will inspire people.
ये जन जन को प्रेरणा देंगे। इसमें डिजिटल टेक्नोलॉजी का उपयोग होने में
Message of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji will easily reach new generations globally with the help of digital technology. I am glad the majority of the members have given suggestions for using digital technology. This shows that India is changing.
अपने आप में बदलते हुए भारत की तस्वीर भी है। हम सभी इन सभी प्रयासों में
In all these efforts, we have to connect more people with us. In all these events, life lessons and teachings of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji have to be taken forward. Guru tradition should also be taken to the world.
समूची गुरु परंपरा को भी विश्व तक लेकर के जाना चाहिए। किस तरह पूरी दुनिया में
The way people of Sikh community all over the world and millions of followers of our gurus are following their footsteps.
सब करोड़ों अनुयायी उनके पद चिन्हों पर चल रहे हैं। कैसे सिख समाज सेवा के इतने बड़े-बड़े काम कर रहा है।
The way Sikh community is doing such great work of social service, and how our gurudwaras are serving humanity. If we take this message to the whole world, then we will be able to give great inspiration to humanity.
मैं चाहूंगा कि इस पर शोध करके
I would like that research should be done on this topic and it should be documented as well. Our efforts will also guide future generations. This will be our tribute to all the gurus, including Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji.
हम सबकी श्रद्धांजलि होगी, एक प्रकार से कार्यांजलि भी होगी। ये भी अहम है कि इसी महत्वपूर्ण समय में
It is also significant to note that India is also celebrating Amrit Mahotsav, as India is celebrating 75th year of independence. I believe with the Guru's blessings, we will definitely be successful in all our events.
जरूर सफल होंगे। आप सबके उत्तम सुझावों के लिए
I am thankful for your wonderful suggestions. Your active cooperation will play an important role in taking forward this rich tradition to the new generations. It is a matter of pride and privilege for all of us that we have got this opportunity to take forward the teachings of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji. My best wishes to all. Thank you very much.
इन्हीं शुभकामनाओं के साथ मैं आप सबको भी बहुत-बहुत धन्यवाद देता हूं।
Now moving further, CRPF's Cobra Jawan Rakeshwar Singh Manhas, who was kidnapped by Naxals during the Bijapur attack on the 3rd of April, has been released on Thursday evening. Rakeshwar Singh Manhas hails from Jammu and was part of the CRPF team that was attacked by Naxals in Taram area of Bijapur district. After his release, the CRPF personnel has reached Basagoda police station. The Cobra Jawan was released in the presence of two mediators appointed by the government, Dharampal Saini and Telam Buraya, and hundreds of villagers. Meanwhile, family members of Rakeshwar Singh Manhas celebrated his safe release by the Naxals. Union Home Minister Amit Shah spoke to the brave CRPF Jawan, Rakeshwar Singh Manhas and his family members.
जैसे ही हम लोग को ज्ञात हुआ ऑपरेशन में जो मिसिंग था वो जवान माओवादियों के चंगुल में है, तो वैसे ही हम लोग के जो है लगातार प्रयास जारी थे, विशेष करके इस क्षेत्र के जो समाज प्रमुख लोग हैं और साथ ही जो इस संभाग में जो कार्यरत जो है प्रमुख जो है समाज सेवी लोगों से उनके माध्यम से संपर्क किया गया। साथ ही उसमें कुछ मीडिया के भी साथी थे, वो सभी का जो है से संपर्क करके जो है माओवादियों की चंगुल से हमारे जो जवान है उसको सकुशल जो रिहा करें।
The Supreme Court has dismissed a plea filed by former Maharashtra Home Minister Anil Deshmukh challenging Bombay High Court's order that had allowed a preliminary CBI probe against him. The Supreme Court also dismissed a similar plea filed by the Maharashtra government in the case. Delivering its order, the Apex Court said that the people involved in the matter do require to be investigated by an independent agency. The top court said what has been directed by the High Court is a preliminary inquiry and it's not inclined to interfere. Meanwhile, the CBI has recorded the statement of former Mumbai Police Commissioner Parambir Singh, arrested police officer Sachin Vaze and ACP Sanjay Patil in connection with his allegations of corruption against Anil Deshmukh. Meanwhile, the NIA custody of Sachin Vaze is going to end on Friday. The agency has again summoned former controversial encounter specialist Pradeep Sharma. The agency had previously called him for questioning as well. Sharma is believed to be the mentor of Sachin Vaze, though NIA has not asserted anything official on Sharma's alleged involvement in the entire episode, but sources say that Sharma was in touch with Vaze and they held meetings several times before the mysterious death of Mansukh Hiren. Moving on, Union Minister and senior BJP leader Prakash Javadekar launched a scathing attack on the Maharashtra government in the wake of suspended Cop Sachin Vaze's letter and demanded resignation of Maharashtra Vikas Aghadi government headed by Uddhav Thackeray.
Shiv Sena and this government needs to answer many questions. कि आपका कॉमन मिनिमम प्रोग्राम क्या है, लूट के सिवाय आपके यहां क्या चल रहा है। और इस लूट के लिए अगर आप सत्ता में आए हैं तो जनता को भी अपनी ताकत दिखानी पड़ती है। आप समझ लीजिए, यह अलायंस चुनाव में जीतकर नहीं आया है और इसलिए मैं मांग करता हूं कि महाराष्ट्र की सरकार को अब सत्ता में रहने का जरा भी अधिकार नहीं है, उनको तुरंत इस्तीफा देना चाहिए।
And terming Maha Vikas Aghadi as a Maha Vasuli Aghadi, Prakash Javadekar said that the common minimum program of the coalition government is to collect money through the police.
एक बात साफ हो गई कि ये महाविकास आघाड़ी कहते हैं, MVA, लेकिन अब साबित हो गया कि ये महावसूली आघाड़ी है, MVA। और इनका कॉमन मिनिमम प्रोग्राम क्या है? CMP इज कलेक्ट मनी थ्रू पुलिस। पुलिस के द्वारा पैसे इकट्ठा करो, लूटो और वसूली करो। यही ये महाराष्ट्र सरकार का एकमात्र कार्यक्रम चल रहा है और इसीलिए सब दल इकट्ठा है।
And let's now get you some more nationwide updates.
Eritrea's Foreign Minister Osman Saleh Mohammad is on a visit to India. Today, Osman Saleh Mohammad held useful discussions with External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar at New Delhi's Hyderabad House. Both of them explored possibilities of cooperation in renewable energy, tele-education, capacity building, health, mining and maritime security, and discussed the regional situation and international issues. Campaigning for the fourth phase of assembly elections in West Bengal has come to an end on Thursday evening. Top leaders including BJP President JP Nadda canvass for voters' support. TMC chief Mamata Banerjee also seeks support for her party's candidates. 44 seats of 5 districts will go to the polls on Saturday. From experienced politicians and opposition leaders, from singer turned ministers to actors, the fourth phase is set to witness high-profile contests. The Supreme Court has said the Rohingya illegal migrants detained in Jammu will not be deported to Myanmar without following law. The centre assured the apex court that law will be scrupulously followed in deporting Rohingya migrants. Advocate Prashant Bhushan, representing the petitioners, had sought a stay on the deportation of Rohingyas. Delhi's Tees Hazari Court adjourned hearing the bail plea of Deep Sidhu, the main accused in the Red Fort violence case, and posted the matter for 12th April. The court asked the Delhi police to hand over transcripts of Sidhu's speeches. A Varanasi court granted permission to the Archaeological Survey of India to carry out a survey of the Kashi Vishwanath Temple and Gyanvapi Mosque complex. The cost of the survey will be borne by the Uttar Pradesh government. The court was hearing a plea related to Gyanvapi Mosque issue. Women in Uttarakhand can travel for free in state roadways buses to attend Kumbh on main festival days and the Purnagiri fair in Champawat district. The freebie for women was announced by Chief Minister Tirath Singh Rawat on Thursday. Women can avail of the free bus ride to the two destinations both on their onward and return journeys. The Kupwara police busted a Pakistan-sponsored narco-terror module operating in Jammu and Kashmir and arrested one terrorist associate. A total of 9 kg heroin was recovered from his possession. According to the police, the module was in touch with Pak-based terror handlers and it was using the drug money to fund terror-related activities in the valley. An FIR has been registered in this regard and a special investigation team has been formed for a thorough investigation. The CBI has arrested two persons for allegedly demanding 50 lakh rupees from a fantasy sports company for helping in disposing of a complaint against it in the office of DSP Zirakpur in Punjab. CBI laid a trap and the person was caught while demanding and accepting a bribe of 10 lakh rupees from the complainant as part payment.
Now, time to get you all the international updates as well, including the latest on the global COVID situation.
The United States is prepared to remove sanctions on Iran to resume compliance with the Iran nuclear deal, including those that are inconsistent with the 2015 pact. US State Department spokesman said that talks so far have been businesslike. Iranian President Hassan Rouhani has termed this agreement a new chapter in the relations between the two countries. Diplomats from major powers and the European Union met separately with Iran and the United States to discuss what sanctions Washington might remove and what nuclear curbs Tehran might observe in an effort to bring both back into compliance with the 2015 nuclear deal. US and Iranian officials began indirect talks in the Austrian capital, Vienna, with European officials expected to act as intermediaries. These talks are being attended by diplomats from the UK, China, France, Germany, Russia and Tehran. US President Joe Biden is expected to start rolling out executive order regulating guns on Thursday. The announcement is expected to include a presidential declaration that could ultimately require people who buy untraceable self-assembled ghost guns to undergo a background check. Mass shootings last month in Georgia and Colorado have put pressure on the White House to act and implement stricter gun restrictions. South Korea and the United States signed their defense cost-sharing deal on Thursday in Seoul. The agreement sees South Korea to a 13.9% increase in its contribution to the cost of hosting some 28,500 US troops for 2021, the biggest annual rise in nearly 2 decades after US calls for greater funding. American troops are deployed to South Korea in what is seen as a deterrent to Pyongyang that also sends a message to China about US influence and capability in Asia. Asia's increasing coronavirus cases indicate that it might be emerging from the worst of the COVID-19 pandemic yet. India, South Korea and Thailand faced mounting coronavirus infections on Thursday. New Zealand, however, has virtually eliminated the virus within its borders and has not reported any community transmission locally for about 40 days. Argentina, on the other hand, struggles with a second wave of the virus. The South American country tightened movement restrictions on Wednesday, including curtailing the leisure industry after the country hit a record number of COVID-19 infections. Israel began its annual Holocaust commemorations on Wednesday evening, commemorating the 6 million Jews killed by the Nazis during the Second World War. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu attended a ceremony at the Yad Vashem Holocaust Memorial Museum in Jerusalem.
That's all we have for the moment in this edition of Newsnight. But for all the latest, do stay tuned to DD India and do remember to mask up, wash your hands, maintain social distancing, and when your turn comes, you must go and vaccinate. Have a good night.